Hey folks, this is Carlos Junco at harmonicapractice.com, and I'm here today to talk about how to do the embouchure vibrato. The choke vibrato, which I described in the earlier video, is this thing that you do from deep within your throat to help with your, especially getting the pitch to vary, which was what a vibrato is, on your lower notes. Opening and closing this glottal stop and getting it to respond the way that I want. The embouchure vibrato, the difference is something that you do with your jaw, and it works better on the high notes, and I'll explain why in a second. But it sounds like this. I'm on my C harmonica here, let's say hole 6 draw. And then especially on the high end, I've just come into the middle of the tune here. Here we go. And remember I was talking about in the earlier video how the vibrato, again, here's Rhythm Willie, he's pretty much playing mostly a triplet on the vibrato. I'm going to get into the mechanics of the how-to in a second, but just listen. If I slow it down, you can hear the piano playing quarter notes on his stride playing. It's half speed. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. He starts to slow down a bit there, but it's pretty much a triplet. Triplet. Anyway, the mechanics of how to do this vibrato. What you do with your jaw to shape the note. There's 3 sort of parts to breaking this vibrato down, which I think work well, that has helped a lot with my students. The first step is to control your bends in a very from top to bottom of what's possible on any given note. This is hole 8, for instance. And you can see my jaw sort of, but I'm shaping the note. The goal is to try to get an evenest tone as possible from the top of the bend to the bottom of the bend to the floor of the bend being the bottom of the bent note. And you want to do it really slowly, and again you're looking for as even a tone as possible from the top of the note to into the bend, into the bottom of the bend. So I'm leaning back as the whole 10 is a little bit trickier on the whole C, on a C harmonica. And the air is so heavily compressed and forced forward into the front of my mouth to get this thing to respond. Your mouth is a tuning chamber to get this reed to respond the way you want it to. And so as you move your way up the harmonica and up the keys of harmonica, you're going to find you require that much more frontal and forced air pressure into the front of your mouth and shaping your mouth to get this thing to respond. Hole 6 draw, it's a little bit easier, quite a bit easier. What you don't want to do when you're bending, though, I mean, I'm going to do more of a description about how to bend, but the mistake that people do when they try to do the vibrato is this ya 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 ya. It's about understanding the mechanics of the bend, and that's why this first step is so important, of going slowly with this bending from the top to the bottom and looking for the evenness of tone. You can't do that if you start going ya. And so that's the first step. The second step is to do the same thing, but as slowly, but you just take it as soon as the note starts to bend down. I mean, a vibrato, which sounds like this, so you start taking the bend down, but as soon as it starts getting into the beginning of the bend, you bring it back up. You're sort of chomping on the note, and my tongue is it's sort of wrapped up around the top of my teeth, and it's sort of scooped to get this thing. You just have to try to make these sounds. Of course, it's all invisible. Even an ultrasound isn't going to show you much, because you have to make this involuntary muscle of your tongue do what you want it to do. And you just have to try by mimicking the sound and hearing what you hear. But it's very much about what's happening in the front of your mouth to get this control that you need to get the note to do what you want it to do. So again, as soon as it gets to the bottom, I bring it back up. And then you just gradually speed it up. But by being able to do that slowly, and you're in control of it, then you can do anything. It's just a matter of speeding it up or slowing it down. In some ways, I find this certainly easier to learn than the choke vibrato. A lot of people are mystified by the choke vibrato, because this huge muscle in here to get this thing to open and close willfully is a challenge for a lot of people. Most people get this a lot easier. So you just gradually speed it up. And you can see my jaw. And then by the time I get down to hole 3, I mean, I could switch into a choke. And it depends on the type of music you're listening to and the expression you want to put into that. You will start instinctively mixing either a bit of the choke vibrato with the embouchure vibrato. The other thing I find easier, although it's totally possible to do your bent note vibratos with a choke vibrato on the lower end, I find I have more control over the expression. I just haven't worked on it, to be honest, the choke vibrato on a bent note, but it's totally possible. But I'm not doing it very well, but if I switch to an embouchure vibrato, and that's down to the full bend number 2 there, using the embouchure vibrato on the bent notes. And then I switched to a choke vibrato then once I got up to the 3. The other thing that works, you can use a combination of the choke. I think I said this in the first video, with the choke and the embouchure vibrato on the blow notes up to hole 6, where these notes don't bend really. You can put some expression into them. by using a combination. Again, you sort of feel your way around and how the note is feeling in your mouth, and I respond to it naturally that way. And it sort of, the note informs me what to do in terms of how, again, the key of the harmonica, the pitch of the note. The lower harmonicas are going to respond differently than the higher keyed harmonicas. Below 6, definitely an embouchure vibrato. Hole 5, this is again my G harmonica. And now I'm sort of using a combination of a choke and an embouchure. So where these notes don't bend, there is some expression to go before they will, pop into an overblow, right? Because all the blow notes up to hole 6 can overblow, even though you don't need to overblow them all to get the notes you need. Hole 2 blow, and by the time I get down to 1, the note again is sort of informing me by its bigger hole, bigger reed. I have to bring the air, shape my air cavity inside my mouth to get this thing to respond, and the choke vibrato works much better for it. So again, if I pick up now my C harmonica and play hole 6 blow, and then 5 blow, right down to 4, I'm still pretty much all embouchure on the vibrato. Now I can start putting in a bit of choke in there. It's kind of a combination of the two. In holes 2 and holes 1 blow, the choke vibrato seems to get the note to work better. And if I picked up my F harmonica, hole 6 blow, oops, yep, 6 blow, 5 blow. See, now it seems I can still actually get them. Again, it depends on the expression you want to put into it, but both work well on an F harmonica. You can still quite easily do an embouchure vibrato when you're down on hole 2 blow, but you get a little bit more oomph when you combine the choke vibrato with it. Again, a combination of the two on hole 1 blow. Anyway, so that is my introduction into and the sort of the basic how-to of doing embouchure vibrato. Join me on harmonicapractice.com and check out my other videos.